Hey guys, Lucas from iExplore here. Today we're going to shoot a little bit in Ginza, do some street photography, and for that I have the ultimate street photography prime lens, the Nikon 500mm f4. But before that, I want to thank our sponsor, portraitmode.io. They are a photo sharing website that's really geared towards street photographers like myself. And it's a good alternative to Instagram because they really emphasize the photos themselves without all the bells and whistles, which I like. It's very simple, minimal, clean, puts the photos right out there looking good. And I've been using it for a couple of weeks. It even makes a great portfolio website because you can organize your photos into albums and whatnot. All right, so maybe I'll see you guys on there. Also, please don't forget to support us on Patreon, if you'd like to. Everything is in the description below, links and all that. All right, let's get on to the video.
iExplore.
Am I serious? Is it the ultimate street photography prime lens? I mean, no, obviously I'm just kidding. But Axel and I had this idea for a couple of months now that I would rent this ridiculous beast of a lens just for fun, just to see, how it shoots. I've never used anything over 400mm, so this is the longest and biggest and heaviest lens I've ever used for any camera ever. And we are going to try to do some street photography with it. I don't know how well that's going to work. More details about that and like how that's going to, what my plan is in a minute. First, just a couple things about the lens. First of all, it weighs just about 3,000 grams, so 3 kilos. I don't know how many pounds that is, but it's over 6 pounds. It's it's like 7 point something pounds, I want to say, 7.2 maybe. And yeah, as you can see, it's huge. Comes with a carbon fiber hood, and that's pretty badass, right? It's like a Lamborghini, And I don't know how much it costs. I didn't bother looking it up, but it's like in close to around 10 grand, something like that. So it's a crazy lens. We rented it for about 200 bucks, no, 150 bucks here in Tokyo at a place called Map Rental. So yeah, I'll have to take care of it because you break it, you buy it. And let's see, I want to maybe just start off with a simple shot, but I want somebody interesting. Already something interesting is like, for just experiencing using this, is I have to look really far away to look for a potential subject because the stuff right here in front is not going to work. It's got to be like that crowd way down there, right? And let's see here. Look at these people. Okay, I wonder if you could even tell what I'm shooting at this distance, like on the video camera. All right, let's keep going. Get this guy taking a photo here. And yeah, that's actually too close. Actually, let's see, what is the minimum focus distance? I didn't even look that up. Just turn it all the way. Something under 3.6 meters. The last number is not visible, but let's say 3.6 meters. So in theory, I should be able to shoot this Ginza street sign. Yeah, I can shoot that. Actually, for this Ginza street thing, I'm actually, I got it in focus, but I'm a little too close. Let's frame it up properly. It's not an interesting photo, but it's just like a good benchmark to start off of like what things, like a simple, clean photo, show the sharpness of the lens. Now the lens does have VR, or whatever. Well, yeah, it does. We would say VR in this case because it's not a Z-mount lens, right? I'm using it with the adapter. So the old F-mount lenses, we would say it has VR, and of course the camera has some IBIS. So between the two of that, it's stabilizing things. But regardless of that, because it's so heavy and so long, my hand's shaking a bit. You're supposed to use this with a monopod, I'm pretty sure. I'm the only bozo who's just using it by hand, but whatever, it's fun, right? So let's see, that photo I just took of the sign looked good. And as you saw, I could get pretty close to it for the minimum focus distance. Let me just get one more here. I want to get a good one, even though it's just a sign, but it's hard to frame it up the way I want because it's so hard to hold this thing steady. The little guy wanted to be in the photo, but he was too small. I didn't even see him. I just saw the Ginza street sign. And look at that. I can't frame up the thing in the middle, because my hand is shaking. I really want to nail this. I want to try to get it right in the middle. Yeah, an interesting thing. So when I take the photos, so between the IBIS and the VR, the frame moves so much. I'm lining it up. Obviously you guys can't see what's on the viewfinder, but I swear I had the text on that sign dead center in the frame. But when I click, I could see it go like, chick, 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 chick. Like the image would jump around in the frame. It's kind of hard to get it exactly where I want it. I guess I could try turning VR off. Just out of curiosity, let's turn that off. Let's just use the camera's IBIS, see if that's better. And now it's so much shakier, it's not even funny. Wow, it's so much, like the image, I can see it moving around much more, but it was more, what's the word I'm looking for? Predictable. Like it nailed it where I wanted it, but you know, it was shakier to begin with. I'm gonna also try it real quick on VR Sport. Again, I'm just getting my bearings with this lens. Yeah, I think Sport is a little better. It feels like, okay, I'm gonna keep it on Sport mode because this is kind of a sport. I'm feeling the burn already, you know? All right, let's keep going. Let's do some real shots now. That was just like the calibration shot. Calibrating my arm and my eye for this crazy lens. This behemoth. Okay, let's shoot the Street Performer here maybe. Let's do that. Easy target, low hanging fruit. Okay, let's try from a different angle. And I'm actually a little too close. I gotta back up. It's so silly. Okay, let's move on. So when Axel and I came up with this this video, when we had this idea, you know, we just thought it'd be fun, like a joke video. Like, let's just rent the biggest, craziest lens and just shoot with it and just see what happens, you know? By the way, if you're wondering where all that Patreon money goes, this is the kind of stuff we want to use it on. We want to use it on renting stupid, expensive gear and then playing around with it. We wouldn't have done this if we had no Patreon support because, you know, it's just money. We're not going to get this money back from YouTube ads, right? Anyway, so please watch the end of the video so the algorithm likes this goofy stuff if you want to see more of it. But yeah, I don't really have any expectations for it, except that, oh yeah, it's just gonna be a fun video, but it's actually way harder and heavier and more like cumbersome than I expected, this lens. I'm shocked. I thought, yeah, it's gonna be big, it's not gonna be that big. Boy, was I wrong. All right, here we go, here's the guy taking a photo of me. I don't know if he wanted a candid one, but he was taking so long to shoot it that I was like, all right, you ran out of time, I'm posing. Okay, let's do another Street Performer. Just because, again, it's just an easy shot. I'm going with easy pickings here. I don't usually shoot Street Performers and stuff like that. This lady got like right in the line of sight here that I wanted. Yeah, I understand why people who do bird photography and stuff like that, they use a tripod or a monopod because it's just not doable. You know, it's been like 15 minutes or something and I'm already like totally exhausted. So like I said, all right, we did some stuff on some people on the street. Maybe I'll see somebody else who's interesting. But what I really am more interested in with these insane focal lengths is more abstract things. And you know, a couple of years ago, I actually had the opportunity to do a job for Nikon, where they hired me to promote some of their telephoto lenses, right? Not this one, but they let me use the 80 to 400 f4.5 to 5.6, I believe it is the full name. And it was fun, and I got some really good shots with that lens here in Ginza. I got a couple of, probably put them up on the screen right now. I don't know if they were actually at 400 millimeter, but they were long, they were telephoto. And I had a good time shooting with it. So I thought, okay, the 500 will be fun, but it's just so big, it's way bigger than that 80 to 400. And it's because of the aperture, right? To get it to be f4, it really needs to be huge at the end if it's a 500 f4. So yeah, it looks a little bit bigger with the hood. The hood is, you know, the lens ends right at the end of the hood there. So it's not that huge, but it's still pretty big. Oh, here we go, maybe this guy up there washing something. It's so zoomed in, way more zoomed in than I even expected when I stood, you know, standing down here. I gotta back up. Okay. And that guy unfortunately is not doing anything particularly interesting. He's just standing there. Oh, here we go. So remember what I said about context? Forget about it. Like, I'm getting these guys, like headshots of these guys at this distance, but I'm getting zero context because it's just those dudes and then bokeh. I'm not even getting the bike. So you really gotta be far back. I really, again, it's kind of a joke video, it doesn't matter. But I even underestimated how intensely zoomed in this is, how cropped in a 500mm is. It's crazy. It's totally like shooting through a telescope. The details you can get though are awesome, like on the buildings. Again, it's totally overkill. I could probably have achieved this with just that 80 to 400 that I was mentioning, would have been totally fine for this. This is so overkill. But it's kind of fun, you know? It's interesting, it's a fun challenge. You just see those last couple shots. All right, let's go to the other part of Ginza, like across this one street here. Oh wait, there's a girl in a kimono. See, that's what I was hoping for. People in kimonos or something. There we go. And there's a film crew. I like the film crew back there as well. All right, so we just took a quick little break, and I mean, wow, this thing is heavy. And if I hold it like this with two hands, not too bad, but actually using it in my hands, it's kind of exhausting. But you know, we're having fun. I think you can see from the smile on my face that I think this is fun, as goofy and silly as it is. I'm not expecting any great shots at this point. It's just like, just have fun with it. When I first, slapped it on the camera, Axel was like, oh, look at you, you feel so cool with it. It's like, yeah, I do, I can't help it. I do feel cool with it. It's cool. Again, before we started, I had this kind of preconception that I would have more opportunities for good architectural shots, like to shoot the details from a distance, but I'm finding even that to be difficult. Because the buildings that are like next to me on the street are a little too close. And if the stuff is, if it's down the street, you're not really shooting it from an interesting angle. It's kind of too far away. Get this tree here. Again, it's just too tight. Okay, here we go. Maybe this is an interesting architectural detail. The way that building is reflecting in the other building there. Very nice and abstract. Brain's been so preoccupied with just dealing with the lens. I'm not even paying attention to my settings. I've been on f8 for a while, which is probably better, for the better. But yeah, probably should have been an f4 for some of those shots. But it's okay. Shoot some down there maybe. Okay. And I will also say, when it's candid, it feels very candid, like, because I'm taking photos of people like, 100 meters away, 50 meters away, but it feels like I'm right in front of them, It's a little bit weird. Again, I emphasize that this is all like some kind of an experiment, It's not really intended to be a serious form of photography. I think we should get off this street. It was a pedestrian street, and actually past those barriers it became a normal street. So let's go this way. Also, I should say I'm a little bit, like, I've been doing it a bit, but I'm a little like paranoid to hold the camera without holding the lens, like it's gonna rip or bend the mount. Oh, wait, here we go. Maybe I get this guy in there. He's selling cameras. Trying to shoot through the window. It's kind of a cool shot. I think that's my favorite shot of the day so far. Like the man's glasses, he's sort of lost in concentration. This fancy like store here with some interesting effects in there. Yeah. It's really hard to even switch to, like, from portrait to, you know, to whatchamacallit, to landscape, and vice versa. Okay, got something kind of abstract in there. Just these guys working. That's kind of cool. I just got some close-ups of those reflections over there, and it created this very abstract sort of imagery, you know, just very, very abstract. It's kind of fun. I like that. That's one of the kind of things I was hoping to get with this lens. All right, we're gonna hop on another elevator and go up to the top of this building and do some shooting from up there. All right, so we've made our way up here onto the roof of Tokyo Plaza. There's like a terrace or hangout spot up here. And we're gonna shoot this big famous crossing here from above right away, first thing. Let's get a better grip on this guy. Now, when you see these photos on the screen, you're gonna notice that they are significantly less sharp than anything we've shot so far, because I'm shooting through this glass at a very steep angle, and that distorts things quite a bit. So, you know, it is what it is. You can still make for interesting shots. It's just that, like, the pure, you know, sharpness of the lens is not gonna be quite there. Here we go, as a guard, or not a guard, but like a cop or something. There we go, somebody interesting. I should say the tracking, like the focus tracking system, subject tracking, is working great with this lens. In general, the AF is awesome, very, very fast for how huge the lens elements are in this lens. The AF is blazing fast. That's something I didn't talk about much because it doesn't really come up, but yeah, sure, with the way that people usually use this lens for sport or, you know, birds and wildlife, you want fast AF. And so far I've seen that the AF is really, really fast. Yeah, okay, cool. We have a subject finally. Somebody interesting. There's a police officer down there, and he's directing traffic with like a baton or whatever. All right, I got one more idea. We're gonna go to the other side of the roof here. Okay, so yeah, in this direction, there's a pretty cool view as well. Kind of shooting into the sun a little bit. There's potential for bullet trains. Let's see, I'm not gonna shoot directly in the sun, but there's this building, like this tower here, which is pretty cool. That's pretty neat. I like that. Ooh, and then we got a pretty interesting view of the palace way over there. Let's see what we can do there. Wow, that's pretty neat. Again, neat. I like this word, neat. It's getting some, you know, some interesting perspectives here. Again, I mean, I'm using the lens a little bit more like how it's intended, right? Shooting from a perch, as I said, and then things really far away, rather than walking along the street like an idiot with a bazooka. I should say, on the way into this building, one guy was just like, "Buki mitai," and it literally means it looks like a weapon. So a number of people have commented or like even just pointed and been like, "What is this guy doing?" You know, I look really out of place with this thing. Let's see here. Right, I was going to get a bullet train. I haven't seen one since we started shooting in this direction, so that there's a good chance one will come. Oh, there it is. Okay, now hopefully I can time it to get the end of the train. Let's see if I can react fast enough. Should be coming in any second now. There it is. Whew, that was kind of fun. There's another one. Let's try to get this other bullet train. Come on, the end, there it is. Whew. All right, that was fun. And back to aperture mode. I'm gonna do one more of this view here with the sun. Hopefully it's not destroying my sensor. And I think that'll be the last shot. We're gonna wrap it up there. All right, guys, I'm gonna call it there. I'm out of ideas. I think we've shot what we can with this bazooka of a lens, right? I had a good time. I think, you know, we did kind of rent it more for the comedy of it than the actual practical value, but I had a good time shooting with it, and I'll probably shoot with it a little more on my own because it is fun, but it is cumbersome. Obviously, you don't need to be a genius to know that this is going to be a cumbersome lens to carry around and use, but it's cool, and I'm glad I had the chance to use it at least this one time. All right, so I think that's all I really have to say about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. More of a joke than a serious video, but again, I think I got a couple cool shots here and there. And yeah, can I recommend it? Sure. If you need a 500mm lens, I mean, you probably can't do much better than this. This is pretty beastly, fantastic lens, assuming you have the budget. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. Of course, please check out our Patreon. Remember, as I said in the beginning, these are the kind of things we want to do more of if we can, you know, keep getting Patreon support, because this costs money. This was not a cheap thing to rent for the day. But in any case, just watching to the end of the video, I'm very grateful for that. I'm sure Axel is too. We really appreciate it. So thank you again for watching. And yeah, catch you guys in the next video. And remember always, challenge your eye.